What up, people? Welcome to the Push Wild Black Show. I'm your host, Christian. This is a very late Bearscast for week 5. Bears lose to the Raiders 24-21. I didn't get a chance to see the whole game live. I saw the last 4 minutes live because I had errands to run this Sunday and I didn't get home in time to see the game. I recorded the game, watched the game today, about 20 minutes ago, and wanted to give you my quick thoughts on the game. I normally don't watch or listen to post-game stuff after I watch the game. Normally, I want my thoughts to be my own, and I wait until after I do these little podcasts before I start consuming post-game stuff. So the only thing and that includes today, because I didn't watch any news, I didn't listen to any sports radio, anything like that today, other than Cowboys stuff, because I watched the Cowboys game. I watched the Cowboys game live, and I watched the Sunday night game live. So, don't know anything about what's going on with the Bears, other than a little criticism while I was following the game yesterday about Nagy leaving for London Friday instead of right when last week was over, and having the team over a lot earlier like Oakland did, because the thought process was the Bears were tired in the first half. Hence the 17-point deficit going into the first half. You can make that argument. I'm not going to argue that, because the Bears didn't look, I don't want to say they didn't look fresh, but they started out real slow, and Jacobs had a field day running the ball. And it seemed like the Bears, unlike last week, the Bears didn't have an answer for the Raiders running game. Because Josh Jacobs had 26 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. And DeAndre Washington had 6 carries, 17 yards, and a touchdown. But it was basically Jacobs taking over the run game for Oakland. The Oakland run game was really good. They ran for over 140 yards yesterday. And the Bears just didn't seem, even when adjustments were made and the defense played a lot better in the second half, they were still able to run on the Bears, which I understand why people are saying that, this is Nagy's fault, because they came later in the week. Because if you compare it to last week, they shut down Delvin Cook and the Vikings offensive line in their running game. So I'm not going to force that argument. I'm not going to make that argument. What I will do, though, is I will commend the Raiders for getting the ball out of Derek Carr's hands quickly and negating the pass rush that the Bears have. Bears had no sacks. Bears had no tackles for loss. I just checked the box score. No sacks, no tackles for loss. Khalil Mack did have a couple pressures in there, and that fumble in the third quarter that was supposed to be a pitch, but the running back thought it was a handoff. Khalil Mack did get that fumble recovery, but Bears defense was negated this entire game. And even with the adjustments, they were able to stop the Raiders in the second half and get in the end zone for most of the game. But they were still able to get yards. Matter of fact, in the first quarter, for most of the first quarter, the Raiders were able to get yards, but it wasn't like the Raiders were able to like get in the end zone a lot. But the Raiders were able. John Gruden negated that rush, and we kind of saw this with going up against. We kind of saw this with the Raiders going up against the Broncos. They got the ball to Derek Carr's hand during the Broncos. So that quick pass offense, and they kind of ran a little hurry up throughout the game, especially in the first half. That helped the Raiders. That kind of tired out the Bears. So the Raiders called a very good offensive game plan against the Bears defense. Same cannot be said against the Raiders. Bears didn't do anything in the first half offensively. They had, let me check my notes here real quick. I saved this on my phone. Okay. The Bears' total offense for the first half was 44 yards. 16 rushing yards, 28 passing yards, while the Raiders had 99 rushing yards, 109 passing yards, and 14 first downs, while the Bears had 2 first downs. In the first half, the Raiders sacked Chase Daniel 3 times and picked him off once. Chase Daniel, because I don't want this to be a Chase Daniel is a bad quarterback game. Couple things that I was hearing after the game last week, up to the game this week. The fact that Mr. Chase Daniel is better for this offense does not mean that Chase Daniel is a world beater quarterback. We already know that Chase Daniel is limited. We already know that. We already know that Mr. Trubisky is a better talent than Chase Daniel is. The issue that, and this is a larger issue with the Bears as a franchise, you can win with dudes that are not necessarily like world beaters as quarterbacks as far as talent-wise. They don't necessarily have to be the best arm. They don't necessarily have to be like the accuracy is important, because I'm not going to say you don't have to be accurate, because that's my issue with Mitch. You don't necessarily have to be the best arm. You don't have to necessarily be the fastest quarterback. It's about presence, and it's about understanding the offense and understanding what you can do within the offense. Chase Daniel understands what he can do within the offense. Chase Daniel's limited. He doesn't have the arm Mitch does. There are moments where he'll make a mistake periodically. This is not saying that Mitch is perfect, because we all know that he isn't. He overthrows people. He doesn't read defense as well. He'll throw picks just more so than Chase does. Chase Daniel threw 2 picks today. He also threw 2 touchdowns. And Chase Daniel, when adjustments were made in the second half, Chase Daniel got you that lead. Period. Chase Daniel got you that lead. Chase Daniel made sure that he didn't make too many mistakes. Now, and I actually saw this live, the second to last drive that the Bears had, where he threw into triple coverage, there's no way I don't know what he was seeing there, but even if there is, because I guess on the broadcast they were saying that maybe he saw or he thought that the receiver was going to go deep and the receiver stayed short. Even if the receiver was going to go deep, you were throwing in, like, they had bracket coverage on you. You were throwing in triple coverage anyway. And Chase Daniel, to me, has not been a guy that has thrown dudes open. The Taylor Gabriel, not the Taylor Gabriel. Let me check again. Let me check my notes again. The Anthony Miller catch when he was covered and he basically out-leaped the defender, that was a beautiful catch. Chase Daniel has maybe one or two throws like that a game. He can't do that consistently. So it was still an ill-advised throw anyway because it was an ill-advised throw. No matter what was going to happen, that was dangerous and it had a chance to be picked. The first pick, he threw it right into the linebacker. He didn't even see the linebacker. He threw it right to him. I don't know. That doesn't mean that Chase Daniel isn't the best fit for this offense. Because I haven't turned on the radio today. I haven't listened to a Bears podcast about this today. So I don't know what they're talking about as far as the quarterback situation. I will give you the argument about the Bears getting there later in the week. Give you that argument. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and say that you can't win football games with Chase Daniel when you can. What the Bears have in a history of doing is, and some of it is the old, the best player on the team is the backup quarterback argument. But specifically with the Bears is we've never really had really good quarterbacks, like consistently good quarterbacks. We've had talented QBs that have arms that are really athletic, that are basically, they look the part. But you have guys, you get guys like Cade McNown, Kelvin Arm, but he's inconsistent and his work ethic was crap. And you get guys like Jim Miller who didn't have the best arm, but since the defense has always been at very least average to above average, you had years where defensively Bears have had the top defenses in the league, or one of the top defenses in the league, and in some cases, world-class defenses. And you have either average QBs to below average QBs, but we get a QB that's like really, really athletic and has all the tangibles and has all the marks of being a great QB, but accuracy problems. Wes Grossman, all the talent in the world, accuracy problems. Cade McNown, all the talent in the world, accuracy problems, and poor preparation. Jay Cutler, all the talent in the world, accuracy problems, mechanic problems. And the thing about Jay Cutler was, which is my issue with Mr. Trubisky, Jay Cutler, you knew in Denver, Jay Cutler had issues with accuracy, had issues with footwork. We knew what he was. And when you got him in here, you knew what he was. Then you have guys like Kyle Orton, back up to Wes Grossman. You have guys like Jay Cutler. Guys like Josh McCown, back up to Jay Cutler. You know what they are. They're not necessarily the most athletic dudes. They're not necessarily have the best arm, but they're backup QBs. They're in Josh McCown's situation. He was a starter before, ended up being a backup, serviceable backup for years. Still think he's still playing. You know what you have in these people. You know what you have in these people. You know what they can do. You have crazy defenses. You have a crazy defense on the other side of the ball. They know your offense. They can move you. They know your offense. They can move your offense. Mr. Trubisky has done nothing to prove his job. Nothing. This game by Chase Daniel was more of a... this game was more of a coaching game than we don't take the rate and we don't know how good the Raiders actually are game than Chase Daniel cost us the game. Okay? I know what Chase Daniel is. I understand what he is. Most people know what Chase Daniel is and understands what he is. We still don't know what Mr. Trubisky is. And if you think that Mr. Trubisky might have won this game for us, Mr. Trubisky might not have got the 14 points needed to get that cushion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want this to be and I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to hear it when I go back and listen to stuff. I don't want this to be we need to put Mitch back in there. If the coaching staff wants to put Mitch back in there, cool. But the idea that you can't, because this is another argument that I heard, like Chase won't be able to play from behind. Guess what? He played from behind. He played from behind today. So this I know this sounds like, Chase Daniel fan club here. I'm just tired of seeing guys that we have a problem in the city of getting quarterbacks that are talented but not really good. And because they put up a lot of numbers or they have flashes of greatness, that they're supposed to be the future, and it doesn't matter. And we end up wasting. Earl Bennett was saying this like about Chase Daniel and how, because the Bears were the old Bears from 06 and a little earlier. They've seen how stuff like where the really good defenses happen, and they're like, okay, we've seen this before. The guy with all the talent in the world doesn't really know the offense well, but we got this defense that's taking games away, just taking balls away and is dominating everything. And we don't know what to do, and we end up losing, or we end up throwing away like these wonderful seasons because our quarterback sucks. I would rather have an average quarterback and Nagy figure out how to work with an average quarterback that knows your stuff, and then we can figure out how to develop the kid later than watching Mr. Trubisky play horrendous football and not give us an opportunity, not give us a chance. Say what you want about Chase Daniel, but you can't make the argument that Chase Daniel didn't give you a chance to win the game. So, this was more of a defense not stopping a running game, and this was more of defense not stopping a running game, and defense not adjusting to quick passes or mini hurry up. And this was also, we can talk about Nagy and his preparation and getting everybody there, but you know what I'm tired of seeing? Why is it that David Montgomery is supposed to be your main running back, but he only has 11 carries, and Tariq Cohen has 4 carries, and Cordell Patterson has a carry? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is the running game still a problem? Where is Trey Burton? Where is your how are we not adjusting for, if the tight end is, because that's what I was hearing the entire season, the tight end is an integral part of the offense, and Trey Burton not being out there is a thing. Okay, so Trey Burton only had 3 catches for 16 yards. Your best receiver is Allen Robinson, as we know. Anthony Miller had Allen Robinson had 97 yards, 7 receptions. Anthony Miller had 452. Cohen was your third best receiver, and Cohen was basically Chase Daniels' check down. So he had a decent game receiving, but it's like, if you know you have a backup QB that's limited offensively, why are we not running the ball? I'm trying to figure out. I'm wondering, is it a line issue, or is it just we're just gonna hope that David Montgomery breaks one and tires the defense out? And really, they haven't really made a point to continue with the run, really. It's still pass first, really. Whereas with the Raiders continue, even with the Vikings, they continue to run the ball on us. The Raiders stay with the run. Nagy doesn't stay with the run at all. The Raiders had, let me see, Josh Jacobs had 26 carries. 26 carries. David Montgomery had 11. Matter of fact, Josh Jacobs had 26 carries, and as a team, the Bears had 17. The Bears had 11, 4. That's 16. That's 17 carries. As a team, the Bears had 17 carries, and Jacobs had 26. It took a long way for me to make this point. Nagy isn't running the ball. Run the ball. Just run the ball. And you have 3 running backs. Use them. And the second to last drive, where Chase threw the interception in the triple coverage, as I stated earlier, all you needed to do was force it into overtime anyway. They had to get your kicker in the best chance to get the field goal and run the ball. You could have ran the ball and got them in the field goal range. Nagy didn't run the ball. It just seems like Matt Nagy puts, for his either coaching decisions or the way he runs his offense, Matt Nagy makes a point to put the Bears in not the best situations to try to win. And he tries too hard to do his stuff without understanding, like, situations. But we got to remember that Nagy's in his second year of coaching. So he's of head coaching. So he's still learning. So it's just, I'm not frustrated. I'm frustrated because they lost. But I'm not frustrated as far as like the situation of the game, because the jet lag situation may be a thing, although Nagy's no one's gonna make excuse for that. And they were able to rebound in the second half, and they were able to rebound in the second half, and they were able to get the lead. Now, as to why they didn't keep the lead, that's a different story. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Bears did it was a heck of a game when you watch it all the way. Raiders are better than we thought they were, and the Bears are going to their tough schedule now with 3-2. They got the Saints next after the bye. Drew Brees isn't slated to be there, although Teddy Bridgewater is no slouch. He's been holding that off. He's been running that offense well, and we'll see how everything goes against New Orleans. I'm probably going to do a Bulls podcast, so this will either be, I'll either probably do another podcast today or soon. I'll think of something for the bye week. Other than that, see you guys soon. Later.